What's up, movie viewers? Dena Views and Reviews here, asking what you watching? Well, today I am watching King Richard, starring Will Smith, Audrey Ellis, Sanaya Sidney, Demi Singleton, John Bernthal, and Tony Goldwyn. It is written by Zach Balin, directed by Ronaldo Marcus Green, produced by Tim White, Trevor White, Peter Dodds, Adam Marilyn Harris, James Lassiter, Alan Mandelbaum, John Monet, Venus and Serena Williams, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. Well, I finally got the chance to watch King Richard. I have been waiting a very long time to see this movie. Why? I guess with all of the controversy over the unfortunate incident at the Oscars, I think it was purposely delayed. You know, the slap heard all around the world. Perhaps it's just me. There may have been some platforms that may have delayed streaming it for some reason. I'm not certain. No matter, better late than never. But this movie dips into the father of tennis champions and superstars Venus Williams and Serena Williams. Just a bit of a peek into their early lives with a focus more on their father, Mr. Richard Williams, and how he was inspired to bring into the world these two young ladies and prepare them to be the phenoms that became and are tennis professionals that they are today. That's Serena Williams and Venus Williams. We are all familiar with them. It is quite a fascinating story, I must say. Richard Williams wrote a 78-page plan that he used to actually take them from prodigy to professionals. I think it should be a part two that goes along with this movie, maybe goes deeper into the ladies' tennis training and with the so-called professionals, and give a bit more details about their own personal experiences and what they had to endure or deal with being two black children exposed to the predominantly Caucasian popular sports. I think they have purposely chosen to leave out many details that I have overheard in conversations, and I think they did this just to not make some of those who exhibited certain behaviors not feel some kind of way. Today, we must pretend a little bit that things didn't happen or will change how it happened. It's so that the guilty won't feel offended. But I'd like to know about their personal individual experiences as young youth, black girls in a sport that was and still is very few black youth get to play today. Like Richard said, CPS needs to be out there as some of the parents in the stands at those games. But not that there aren't black youth capable or skilled enough to play these kinds of sports. We know that there are plenty well qualified youth that would certainly excel at it, but many times the opportunity is just not there for various reasons. Although economics or finances can play a huge role, often there are deliberate cultural politics put in place that may cause you to choose otherwise. They say it's just not worth it. We're well aware of some practices that still exist here in America, even though they try to be covert sometimes to deny access to certain sports or genres. Patterns and procedures in place that carefully designed to deny or limit access to certain populaces. This we know that exists. But watching this movie, I found it to be a good lesson in manifesting, as was represented by Mr. Richard Williams in this movie. So I think it all started with an observation that turned into an idea, a thought in his mind, an idea, one that he assisted, that he nurtured until it became a reality. It actually became flesh and blood. And now both of them are dwelling among us. That is what I call manifesting in its highest form. impressive, and exceptional, and it proves the incredible ability to change one's reality. Now, of course, Mr. Richard Williams did not just pray, um, teach, and manifest alone. He, of course, had a devoted wife who had his back, and she most certainly assisted with their training as well and providing for the children. Miss Aracene Williams aided in the process of making his dream, as well as Serena Williams and Venus Williams' dream come true. And not to mention, they have other daughters. So she assisted in helping their dreams come to full fruition, making the saying true, behind every good man there is a good woman. Now, Richard's foresight and unparalleled drive was undeniable. He got up and he made things happen. He had a vision when it came to tennis and for these young ladies. He didn't care how many times he got turned down. He kept going. And this is why I gave this movie a 4.5 stars out of 5. Not to mention his personal interaction with them as a father. It was so beautifully represented on film, and seeing him going to various degrees to protect them, providing for them, sacrificing for them, just how he would encourage and devote so much time with the family, in particular on and off the court, was inspiring and heartwarming. I like when he would call them by their full name. It is so cute when he says, Serena Williams, who is your best friend? Or Venus Williams? I like that, Venus Williams. That affection he had for them was beautiful to see, and how he would try to guard them from some of the underlying animosity, some of the bigotry or veiled bias and intolerance from the media or even other players. He recognized it and would just shut it down, protecting them from it as much as he possibly could to keep them focused. Richard had established a vigorous training schedule in which he actually coached Venus and Serena from the age of 4 to become the amazing tennis champions that they are today, all while continuing to scout out trainers or other people that could take them higher within the tennis league. As I was watching this movie, I have to say I could not help but notice how well they chose the actress that played Venus and Serena's mother. She really looked very much like Mrs. Aracene Williams. I mean, in real life. Oh my God, the resemblance is just striking. And the young actress that was chosen to play Serena in her youth, I think it's Demi Singleton. Wow, she really resembled her, especially when looking back at some of her old pics. So kudos on their choice of actors in that area. And of course, Will Smith had Richard Williams' demeanors down pat. Not to mention Richard's notorious shorty short shorts. Those booty shorts, as they were referred to. Will Smith had that walk and the talk down pat. Now, we know he, of course, is not the exact same complexion, but he did a wonderful impersonation of Richard Williams, and his award for that role was well deserved. Although the movie King Richard does delve into the origins of these two young, gifted black female tennis players, Venus and Serena, it tried to keep the focus on how their father had a very important impact on their lives, their success, and how he was able to manifest and make it a reality. But hearing his own experiences as a child and in his own life having to deal with racism, the Klan, and one story he shared made me tear up. Training the girls was, of course, important to him and how he stuck to the regimen, but it was sad to hear the physical abuse and the unscrupulous people that were in the neighborhood and in the world in general. He shared with his children that people were always beating him up. And I felt so much sympathy for him, especially when he talked about the Klan and how a group of those white men were beating him up. And he remembered looking and seeing his father take off running while they were beating him. He just left him. The very thought was so very sorrowful and heartrending. I mean, it was infuriating too and appalling all at once, just knowing what this man had already endured in his life. It made me feel a lot more compassion for him. It was easy to understand his drive and wanting better for his daughters. It was very clear. He had a clear vision of what he wanted for them and what he needed to do to attain what it is that he desired for his daughters. Mr. Williams started the girls out training on these gang infested tennis courts in Compton, California, where he was beaten and harassed. That that part was kind of sickening, but he stayed committed and it was undeterred. He stayed the course, of course. That was what was important. Along with his wife's support, he followed his intuition and he prevailed. But one of the most profound things that Richard shared with his daughters, Venus and Serena, when they were driving to go see a possible coach, was part of the pep talk he was giving to them. And that was what his mother told him. And what she said was the most strongest, the most powerful, and the most dangerous creature on this earth is a woman who knows how to think. He said, ain't nothing she can't do. He just had so much faith in these two girls. And I love the response given by Serena when she did get the opportunity to speak to show one of the trainers or one of the coach what their abilities were. And he asked them what they wanted out of this. And Venus said she wanted to win matches. And Serena said, I want other people to want to play like me. Proving again the true power of manifesting what it is you want to achieve or accomplish. Speaking it into existence, then being able to be about the business of making it a reality. King Richard is rated PG-13, and if you would like to check this movie out, you most certainly can because it is now streaming on Prime Video. This has been Dena Views and Reviews, inviting you to join me weekly for my next movie review and our recommendation. And I want you to remember, it's my view. Now, what you watching?